Good morning. Well, afternoon. A little late today. Welcome to this week's episode of This Week in My Garden. We're going to start this week with my cherry tomatoes. They are just doing fantastic. They are loaded with blossom sets. So we should start seeing some cherry tomatoes here pretty soon. I'm going to hit these guys with my blossom set spray here in the next few days and get those things going. My ox hearts are putting on some blossom sets. Those two aren't, but those two are, so I'm happy about those. My red celebrations got a few blossom sets on this guy. Got some on that guy, and there's some over there. This one still doesn't have any. So 3 of the 4 have put on blossom sets. The lemon boys that Tiff got us hooked on, they're doing really good. There's blossom sets all over these 4 guys. So the lemon boys should start making some tomatoes pretty quick. Tiff's Pop of Color corner is not much color right now. And the mint stand is doing great. I'm eventually going to replace this section over here with a an herb bed, or spice bed, an herb bed. And but right now it's just the mint corner that we brought with us from our old place. Planted it here, and well, it doesn't do as good here as it did at the old place, but it does okay. All right, we'll take a look at the onion bed here. I have these 2 extra tomatoes I put in down here. I have decided they are ox heart. They're the same as those guys right there. They're putting some blooms on over here, so that's good. It's beginning to get really warm here. It's going to be like 97 degrees here towards the end of the week. So I'm thinking I probably should get my garden shade up here pretty quick. But as you can see, my onion beds, my onions are just, I don't know. Maybe it's not what I was expecting them to do. Maybe this is what they're supposed to do. I don't know. Never grown onions before, but they just look awful. They're sporadic. I put like 100 onion sets in here. You know, you buy the little onion sets at the store. They're already growing. You just come in, you put them in the ground. About 100 of those things. And as you can see, I've only got about 20 of them that are doing anything. The other 80 of them died. And these aren't doing what I expected them to do. I'm not sure what I expected them to do. But this is not what I was expecting. So, yeah, onions, I don't know. If these things don't start doing something, I'm just going to call them all green onions, pull them up, and I'll plant some more black-eyed peas over here. I got these tomato cages from Russ Anderson. I did not use them in my tomatoes. I was trying to figure out something to do with them because, well, they're very sturdy. What I decided to do, as you can see here, is I set them in my black-eyed pea patch, and I'll let my black-eyed peas climb up on those things because they'll climb or they'll spread out on the ground. I mean, you can trim them back, but I'm gonna just do it this way. All my black-eyed peas have come up. I feel like I got enough of the plants here, and we're just gonna let them grow up on these tomato cages. I guess now they're black-eyed pea cages, and yeah, looking good. Tiff's corn's coming along really nice. It's still leaning to the west, but it is coming up really good. I'm really happy with the corn. We're gonna see what happens. I had a client tell me that when they were in Minnesota, Missouri, I forget where she said she lived when she was growing up, but the squirrels would eat the corn off the cob on the plant. I'm hoping my cats will keep the squirrels out of my corn. The flowers in the containers are still nothing to talk about, so we're not going to talk about them. We'll come over here and look at the banana peppers. They're beginning to try to do stuff, but they're still a little young, a little small. I'm not gonna really encourage it. If one of them was to put a bloom on right now, I'd probably pick it off because I think they're just a little bit too immature. My Italian sweets are looking really good. That one, I'm gonna have to replace it, I'm afraid. It just doesn't look like it's gonna make it. But as you can see, something exciting is happening in my garden. I've been talking about nothing exciting happening in my garden. Nothing exciting happening in my garden. Oh, look what I found here yesterday. I've got an Italian sweet pepper on the vine. Well, actually on the plant. These aren't vines. Tomatoes are vines. These are just pepper plants. But on the pepper plant, we have a Italian sweet. The jalapenos are putting on some blossoms. I think they're big enough to support some peppers. So we're gonna let that go. Over here on the bell peppers, nothing really happening. We got lots of little blossoms coming on, so that's good. The blossoms will eventually lead to a pepper, so we're just gonna keep letting these guys blossom. Get these little blooms on here, and eventually we'll have some bell peppers, but right now none. But that's okay, it's still early. Over here in my fun bed, a little bit of everything, I like to say. My jalapenos, or let's say Tiff's jalapenos, because I really didn't want to grow jalapenos, but Tiff wanted some jalapenos. So we've got jalapenos and a weed. By weed, I spend a lot of time pulling weeds out of these things. There's some kind of vine that grows around here that just pops up everywhere. And yeah, this is part of it. So, but my jalapenos are looking good, and my poblanos, they're growing really nice and tall. But there's no blossoms on these guys yet. And over here on my red Marconis, they're looking good. That one's kind of weak, but that one looks good. This one looks good. Here's a little blossom on that one. This one had a blossom on it, but it didn't turn into a pepper, so that's okay. It's a little early still. The begonias are looking really good. Petunias on the ends are nice. And one thing I'm really happy about, my cucumbers are beginning to grow, and they're beginning to reach and go up this thing, my trellis. So, but what I'm happy about is we've got lots and lots of blossoms all over these things. So we're definitely going in the right direction with the cucumbers. The pickling cucumbers down there coming along really good. They're probably about 2 months younger than these guys. I planted those from seed about a month ago, and I planted these from started plants from the store about a month ago. So I'm thinking that's about 2 months behind these guys. So just letting them go, trying to get them to go up the trellis here, so I can kind of keep them up off the ground. Over here on Tiff's Pop of Color corner, her orange star has put on some new growth. So that's nice, pretty orange flower. Purple petunias. Something yellow right there, interesting. Oh, and see what that is. Bee balm is looking really strong. I mean, it's coming up really good this year. And still no flowers. We'll see. Miss Kitty, get out of my pepper plants. Oh, she's scared of me, isn't she? All right, over here, that one banana pepper that I pulled up out of the ground because I thought it was gonna die is looking pretty good over here. It might, it's probably gonna find a home before too much longer, somewhere around here. And these Italian sweets that I put in the ground to start, looks like this one has a seed that's germinated, and that one right there has a seed that's germinated. So, yeah, got a little bit of things happening this week in my garden. Black eyed peas are coming up really good. This guy's looking good and strong. So, got a hummingbird feeder that we've never seen a hummingbird at. Oh well, maybe one day. Well, that's it this week. Thanks for joining me in my garden. We're beginning to get some progress here. Got some peppers on the pepper plant. Got some tomatoes just about ready to start putting on some tomatoes. We were eating our grape tomatoes with our breakfast this morning, and I looked over at Tiff and I said, hey, in about a month we'll be eating our own homegrown grape tomatoes for breakfast. And we thought that was pretty exciting. So we're looking forward to that. But like I said, thanks for joining me for this week's episode in my garden. And I'll see you next week in my garden.